Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Not just a passing glance, but a constant, heavy presence that follows you everywhere? It started subtly for me, shadow in the corner of my eye, a floorboard creaking in the empty apartment above, the feeling of breath on my neck when I was home alone. At first, I brushed it off, nerves in old buildings settling, an overactive imagination. I was a musician, a pianist, and my life was my art. I spent hours, days, lost in the keys, the melodies, my only companions. Maybe I thought the solitude was finally getting to me, but then things escalated. I'd come home to find my sheet music rearranged. Not just shuffled, but placed in a specific order, spelling out cryptic messages with the titles. I see you. So beautiful. Mine. I called the police. They found no signs of forced entry. The landlord changed the locks. It didn't stop. Little gifts started appearing. A single, perfect black rose on my piano. A vintage metronome, its needle ticking silently on my bedside table when I woke up. These weren't just intrusions. They felt like offerings. Like I was being courted by a ghost. My friends thought I was losing it. "You're just stressed, Alex," they'd say. "Take a break. Get out of that apartment." But I couldn't. The music was flowing out of me like never before. My compositions became more complex, more passionate, filled with a haunting beauty I'd never been able to capture before. It was as if this unseen presence was my muse, feeding my creativity, pushing me to new heights. I started to feel a strange connection to it, a twisted sort of gratitude. I began to talk to it, whispering into the empty rooms, thanking it for the inspiration. One evening I was practicing a particularly difficult piece, my fingers flying across the keys. I felt that familiar cold spot in the room, the air growing heavy. This time, it was different. I could feel the pressure of a hand on my shoulder, a gentle, possessive weight. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs. I didn't scream. Instead, I kept playing, my music a desperate plea. "Who are you? What do you want?" The pressure on my shoulder increased. A silent answer. It wanted me. It wanted my music. It wanted my devotion. I started leaving out offerings of my own, a glass of wine on the windowsill, a new composition dedicated to my adorer. The activity in the apartment intensified, but it no longer felt menacing. It felt appreciative. The temperature would drop when I played a piece it liked. Soft melody, not from my piano, would echo through the halls in the dead of night, a response to my own. I was no longer scared. I was adored. I had a fan, a patron, one who demanded nothing but my art, my soul. The line between my life and my music blurred completely. I stopped seeing friends. I stopped leaving my apartment. My world shrank to the four walls of my living room, the 88 keys of my piano, and the constant chilling presence of my unseen admirer. It was a symbiotic relationship. I created for it, and it, in turn, existed for me. People called their voices full of concern, but they were just noise, distractions from my work. My true audience was right here with me. One day, the manager of a prestigious concert hall called. Someone had sent him a recording of my work. An anonymous benefactor, he said. He offered me a solo performance, a headlining show. It was the dream I'd chased my entire life. But as he spoke, I felt a deep, piercing cold envelop me. The air crackled with possessive energy. The wine glass on the windowsill shattered. The message was clear. It did not want to share me. I should have been terrified. I should have run. But looking at my piano, at the sheet music filled with the most beautiful, agonizing melodies I had ever written, I felt a surge of pride. This was our creation. Mine and my adorers. How could I perform for a room full of strangers who would never understand the depth of my art, the sacrifice it took? They would just clap, then go home and forget. But my adorer would never forget. It would always be here, listening. So I declined the offer. I unplugged my phone. I locked the door and threw away the key. My friends and family eventually stopped trying to reach me. The world outside faded away, leaving only the music. The days and nights bleed into one another, marked only by the pieces I compose. Sometimes congregation of one, and its worship is absolute. It breathes with my music. It lives for my art. They say love makes you do crazy things, but this isn't love. It's adoration. And it is a far, far more powerful force. I will play forever for an audience that will never leave, in a concert hall of my own making, and I will never be alone again. The silence between the notes is the only thing I have to fear now, because in that silence, I might remember what it felt like to be human. And I can't have that. The performance must go on.